Namaste, beautiful souls. This class is called Journey to Chaturanga. So Chaturanga Dandasana, four-limbed staff pose, is one of the most difficult transitions in a Vinyasa yoga flow. And it's not something that you necessarily have to do, but if you decide that you want to build up a lot of upper body strength and you enjoy the process, then Chaturanga is a lot of fun. And oftentimes in my classes, we have double Chaturangas for each Vinyasa. So I wanted to take the time specifically to help you learn how to properly move through a Chaturanga. This class is going to still be a Vinyasa flow, but the primary focus will be on strengthening the shoulders, the arms, the core, and teaching you how to do this transition properly with good alignment and intentionally. So when you're ready, I'll see you on the mat. So we'll begin today in Sukhasana, easy cross-legged pose. So come to your seat. You can take your hands and move the fleshy part of the buttocks away from the sits bones. Maybe come to sit on a cushion or a bolster or a block if that feels more comfortable for you. Sit back on your sits bones, maybe slightly engage the core and lean a little bit farther back in space than you think that you need to. Oftentimes we are sat a little bit forward on the sits bones. So let's stack our ears over our shoulders, over our hips. Begin to just tune in to the body here. Close the eyes, take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Noticing the places where your body is touching the floor. Maybe your ankles, your feet, your sits bones, your thighs. Another deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Gently dip the chin and lengthen the back of the neck. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. Allow the shoulders to glide down the back. And as you continue to breathe here in Sukhasana, just allow your mind's eye to scan the body. Starting from the feet, notice the pressure of the floor upon them. Moving up the shins, across the knees and down the thighs. Noticing where your femur attaches to your pelvis, the crease at your hips, the weight of your sits bones on the floor. And take your mind's eye now and move it up the back body. Noticing the lower back and the mid back. Swirling around to the front body, noticing the navel, the ribs. As you breathe, moving up the body to the sternum and the shoulder blades. They rest on the back of your ribs. Moving over your shoulders now, where your arms meet your torso. Down the crease of your inner elbow and into the very tips of your fingers. Notice the pressure of your hands wherever they sit upon your body. finally move up into the head. Bring your mind's eye to that space just between and above the eyebrows, the third eye center. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, release. Once more, in through the nose. Sigh it out. And this time, as you inhale through the nose, rock your body forward, pressing your heart space toward the feet. And exhale, round through the backs, rocking onto the backs of the sits bones, chin to chest. Inhale forward. Gently lift the chin, exhale, round. Press the spine to the back of the room. Inhale, rock forward. Shoulder blades squeeze together and exhale, round back. As you round forward this time, bring your torso over to the right, forward, left, exhale, rounding in a circle to the back. Inhale, rounding forward, arching forward. Exhale, round in a big circle. Imagine you're stirring a pot with your tailbone. Hook your hands onto your knees so you don't fall backwards. And switch directions. Inhaling to the left, forward, right, exhale, swoop back. Notice where you're feeling this the most. Last one. Back to center. Take your right hand now to the mat. Inhale, left arm up and over. Ground down through the left hip. So your hips are equally pressing into the mat. Palm of the hand facing down. Inhale, come back up. Other side, left hand to the mat. Right arm reaches up and over. Pinky leading. Palm of the hand down. Ground down through the right hip. And come back through center. Take your right hand to your left knee, swoop the left arm back and around, twist. Just a gentle twist, beginning the practice. Other side. Come back to center. Now, what we'll do here is a little different, but it's a good practice to begin to engage the shoulder blades and the muscles surrounding the shoulder blades. So take your hands in front of you now, like you're going to push on something, and allow the shoulder blades to move to the right and the left. You'll create a little bit of a rounding in the back. So the shoulder blades are kind of winging off to the side, and there's a rounding in your back. I'll turn to the side to show you. So the spine is pressing between the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades are on the side of the rib cage now. So imagine that you are pushing on the butt of a very large elephant and you're trying to get it to move. Push with all your might with the rounded spine a little bit. Okay, release, shake it out. See how that felt? Now, take your hands in front of you once again. Glue the shoulder blades onto the back. So rather than them rounding to the side, winging out to the side, they'll stay fairly flat along the spine. You might take a little wider of a hand stance. So glue the shoulder blades, try to engage the shoulder blades along the back. Without rounding the spine, now try to press on the elephant's butt and get him to move. Without moving the body, just using the arms and the shoulder blade strength. Okay, release. Whew. Did you notice a difference? Which one of those two felt stronger to you, more secure? I should say. If you're doing it right, it should be the one where your shoulder blades are glued down the back rather than the one where they're winging out to the side, because the shoulder blades are the most secure and the most strong when they're in their proper place on the back of the spine, or back of the rib cage rather. And the shoulder blades move. They have a lot of mobility because they sort of glide along the back of the rib cage in order to allow your arms to move. But when we are rounded like this and the shoulder blades are winged out to the side, that takes away their power. They're no longer glued to the back of the ribs. They're out kind of wild on the side, and that makes them lose their strength. So we'll be working on that stability and strength throughout this practice. Take your hands now to the front of the mat and come into tabletop. Wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Press into the tops of the feet. Look back, make sure your feet are not coming in to touch, but they're emanating directly parallel to each other from the knees. And the reason the shoulders are so important is because you need that strength when you're moving through that chaturanga. So what we'll do in this tabletop position, we're going to start practicing our serratus push-ups. Now, serratus is a muscle along the rib cage that is very small, and we don't often engage it very much. So today's practice is going to be all about engaging it. So spread the fingers wide, engage the core, lengthen the tailbone towards the back of the mat, and now allow the torso to sink heavy between the shoulder blades. So now the shoulders are popping out the back. There's probably an arch in the back, but try to keep the core engaged a little bit. I know there's a lot of talking. This is a bit more of a workshop type vinyasa than a flowy vinyasa, so hope you'll forgive me for that, but it's going to be a lot of very useful information. So allow the torso to drop between the shoulder blades. Excellent. Inhale. Without moving the arms or the feet or anything, just move the torso up so that you're kind of rounding a little bit in the back. So it's not a cat pose, rather it's not a full rounding in the back, but just press the spine that's between the shoulder blades up toward the sky. Excellent. Allow the torso to fall back between the biceps once again. And inhale, press the torso up toward the sky. So again, we're just moving the torso. Everything else stays still. 3. It's not a huge movement, but it is using muscles that we don't usually move, so it might be tough. 4. You have to move slow to be very precise. 5. We'll do 5 more. Shoulder blades wing up. Press the torso up toward the sky. 6. 7, almost there. 8. 9. 10. And release. Flip the toes under. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet, bend one leg and then the other. Maybe shake the head, yes and no. Dip the chin, lengthen the back of the neck. Maybe keep the knees really bent, that's fine too. You don't need to have any movement here. It's really just what feels good for you. But if you do feel like walking the dog, just straighten one leg and then the other, stretching the back of the hamstrings. Navel sucks up and in. Awesome. Inhale, lift the right leg high to the sky. Exhale, step the foot between the hands. Drop the left knee down, come up, low lunge. Square the hips, so press the right hip back, left hip forward. Engage the core. Just getting a little bit of a stretch. Take the hands behind you now to clasp. Open the collarbones toward the sky. Move the fist down the left thigh. Look up, maybe. Opening the front of the shoulders. Baby back bend. And release the hands to the sky. Plant the palms on either side of the foot. Step it back to tabletop and bring the belly to the mat. Take the hands directly underneath the shoulders. Squeeze the elbows toward one another. Press through the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift the heart space forward and up, cobra, with an awareness here of the shoulders. So notice if you have a tendency to really push yourself in cobra and your shoulders are up towards your ears and you have no engagement in your back, maybe you've locked out your shoulders. Come back down to the mat. Allow the shoulders to relax away from the ears, so lengthen the back of the neck, relax the traps. Glide the shoulder blades down the back. Squeeze the elbows in toward one another so the elbows graze the side body. Press through the tops of the feet. Gently press into the hands, but really engage the lower back and lift once more into cobra. So you might notice there's a little bit of a squeeze to the glutes. Lift the lower back. Engage the lower back, lift the heart space, dip the chin, lift your hands to make sure you're not pressing into the mat too much, and replace them back down under the shoulders for support. Continue to squeeze the elbows toward one another, engage the legs, kneecaps, lift off the mat, and release. Excellent. Press it back to tabletop and downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step the foot between the hands. Drop the right knee down. Inhale up. Low lunge. Squeeze the thighs toward one another. Press through the top of the right foot. Relax the shoulders. So again, keep that awareness. See if you're really lifting and squeezing around the neck. See if you can't find more space between the ears and the shoulders. Just relax. No need to squeeze or try to create any specific shape. Just allow the upper body to be relaxed even while you're holding your hands above your head. Wonderful. Take the hands behind the back now. Clasp, reversing the clasp. Walk the fist down the right leg. Lift the collarbones toward the sky. Engage the core. Press the right hip forward. Maybe look up, dip the chin. Smile. And release the hands. Plant the palms. Step it back to tabletop. Now from here, walk the knees a little bit farther back so that your wrists are still over your, your shoulders are still over your wrist, but your knees are a little bit farther back in a half plank. So the core is engaged, tailbone lengthens towards the heels. No dumping into the lower back here. We're not a mermaid on the rock. We're not Ariel on the rock, okay? Engage the core, create strength, create stability. Okay, we'll do 10 more from here of those serratus push-ups. So dropping the torso between the biceps and press back up. 1, 2, only the torso is moving. 3, really engage the core. Going a little faster this time, we know what we're doing. 5, continue to be intentional. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Bring the belly to the mat. Take the hands directly underneath the shoulders. Squeeze the elbows toward one another. Press through the feet. Lift the kneecaps. Engage the legs. Inhale, cobra. Press the hip points into the mat. Squeeze the elbows toward one another. Shoulders relax down the spine. Gaze a few feet in front of the fingertips. And release. Press it back to downward facing dog. Look under the right shoulder. Look under the left. Come back to the breath. Notice if you feel any warmth in the back body now that we've been practicing these push-ups. Now take the hands about as wide as the mat, depending on your body size. Face the fingers just a little bit in. So normally you would have the middle finger directly towards the top of the mat. Turn it in at a little bit of a diagonal. Take the feet as wide as the mat now. Bend the knees. Press the hips to the sky. Maybe walk the feet in a little bit closer towards the hands. And what we'll do here is a down dog push-up. So the elbows are now going to be facing out. And as you bend the elbows, keep your hips high, your head in line with the arms. Bring your head towards the mat and press back up. These are down dog push-ups or pike presses, shoulder push-ups. We need to have that shoulder strength. So bend the elbows out toward the side and press back up. Keep the core tight, booty high to the sky. 2, 3, your gaze is toward the back of the room. 4, and 5. Excellent, down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhale up, high lunge. Press the left heel away from you, squeeze the thighs toward one another, engage the core. Continue to keep awareness in those shoulder blades. So we're not squeezing up really high to the sky, but keep some space between the hands, relax the upper body. Take the hands behind you, clasp open, look up, walk the fist down the left thigh. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, plant the palms. Step it back, plank. You can always bring the knees down. Just creating that warmth, that heat, that strength. Press the heels away from you if you're on your toes. For 3, 2, 1. Bring the belly all the way to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Press it back. Downward facing dog. Take the stance for our down dog push-ups once again. Bend the knees, lift the booty high, engage the core. Fingers just slightly facing inward, elbows facing out. Bend the elbows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one. 5. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, high lunge. Imagine you have a big beach ball above your head, creating that wide, maybe V shape with the hands. Press the right hip forward, press into that right heel, bend the left knee deeper. Take the hands behind you now, clasp, reverse the clasp, walk the fist down the right leg, back bend, lift the collarbones toward the sky, smile, and release. Plant the palms, step it back to plank. For 3, 2, 1, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And then inhale, rock forward to plank. Exhale, lift the hips, squeeze the core, down dog. Inhale, plank. Give me a strong plank. Exhale, lift the hips, down dog. Inhale, plank. Core super tight. Exhale, down dog. 3. Forward. Spread the fingers wide. Back. 4. Last one. Plank. Down dog. Excellent. Inhale, rock forward to plank. Bring the knees onto the mat. And you're going to want to keep your knees back. We're coming into this half plank. So knees are down, shoulders are over wrists to start. But because we're going to be practicing our chaturangas, the shoulders are going to move forward over the fingertips, which is easier to do when you're on your toes. We're going to practice on our knees first. So shoulders will move a little bit forward over the fingertips. Engage the core, knees are back. You can cross the feet in the air. Again, we're not doing our mermaid on the rock. Core is super tight. Tailbone moves toward the space between the knees. And as you bend the elbows, your elbows are going to move back. So you want the crease of your arm to be facing the front of the mat, mostly. So when we were doing our down dog push-ups, the elbow crease was inside so the elbow could move out. This time we want the elbows to move back towards our feet or towards our knees. So you'll notice that when you have your hands on the mat, let's practice this. Take your hands on the mat and turn the elbows out. The creases are towards the middle back now, and then turn the elbow creases forward and out, or in, I suppose, and forward. So you can keep your hands on the mat, nothing else is moving, just your elbow creases. Crazy that our arms can do that. Okay, so now that you've done that, once you place your hands on the mat, you want to turn your inner elbow creases toward the front of the room to the best of your ability. So as we move forward, when we bend the elbows are going to graze the side body. They're going to graze the rib cage, really squeezing your elbows into the rib cage, okay? Come into your plank with the knees down, shoulders are over the fingertips, engage the core, glue the shoulder blades onto the back body, onto the rib cage, bend the elbows, kind of launching forward, and you're attempting to keep the elbows over the wrists. You can look down. So the elbows are over the wrist and the shoulders are forward. Great, press back up. That was your first chaturanga for this class, maybe ever. It's tough, isn't it? So you want to keep your heart open, your shoulder blades gliding down the back, glued to the back body. Core is super tight. Elbows come to a 90 degree, but you don't have to go that far. We can always just stay up a little higher, bend the elbows, press back up. Eventually, perhaps you might want to get to that 90 degrees, and that's fine too, wherever you're at. So come back to our half plank, launch forward, bend the elbows, get the elbows over the wrist, and press back up. 1. Launch forward, press through the base of each finger. 2. Widen across the collarbones. 3. Elbows glued to the side body. 4. Last one. 5. Press back up, and then bring the belly to the mat. Woo! Squeeze the elbows toward one another. Cobra. And exhale. Press it back to child's pose. Great job. Walk the hands forward, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step the foot between the hands. Inhale, come on up. High lunge. Take the hands now to clasp behind, open the chest, lift the heart space toward the sky, and exhale, take the torso forward, head in the direction of the right ankle. Humble warrior. Press through the left heel, gravity takes over the fists, widen across the collarbones, allow the shoulders to relax. Inhale, come back up, high lunge. Exhale, plant the palms, step it back to plank. Bring the knees to the mat, chaturanga. And once you come down halfway, let the feet fall to the mat. Lift up into upward facing dog. So press through the feet, lift the knees, lift the legs off of the mat. Just the feet and the hands are pressing in. This is upward facing dog. This is what we often do after a chaturanga. Excellent. Drop the knees again, press it back to tabletop, downward facing dog. So upward facing dog is a more advanced version of cobra. And oftentimes we do chaturanga, upward facing dog, and that's the transition, so that's why we're practicing it in this class. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, high lunge. Clasp the hands behind the back, reverse the clasp, bunny thumb on top. Walk the fist down the thigh, look up, smile, and bring the torso down, left ear toward left ankle, humble warrior. Inhale, come back up, high lunge. Exhale, plant the palms, step it back to plank. Bring the knees down, Chaturanga. So elbows over wrists, maybe 90-degree angle, maybe not so much. Drop the feet down, lift the kneecaps, upward facing dog or cobra. Drop the knees again, press it back, downward facing dog. So that's one version to get into upward facing dog. Our final one here is going to be a full transition from Chaturanga to upward facing dog. Don't have to do it. If we're not there yet, continue practicing at the level that feels the most beneficial for you. But for those of us who want to try this transition from down dog, rock forward to plank, up on the feet. Press the heels away from you, engage the core. Hip points move toward the face. Your shoulders are over the wrists to start, but as you are about to take the Chaturanga, launch onto the tops of the toes. So shoulders move forward over the fingertips. This is an important part of this move, so let's practice that rocking motion first. Rocking forward over the fingertips. Awesome. All right, from here, you'll bend at the elbow. So glue the shoulder blades to the back of the rib cage. Bend at the elbows, come into the Chaturanga. Lift the heart space, come onto the tops of the toes, upward facing dog. Excellent. Now press it back to downward facing dog. Bring your knees to the mat. Keep the hips over the knees. Walk the hands forward. Allow the heart space to melt to the mat. Extended puppy. Walk your hands back in, come into tabletop. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, thread the hand between the window that was created. And bring your right ear, right shoulder to the mat. Maybe bring your left hand above your head to get a deeper twist. Your choice. You should feel this in the back of the shoulders, the area that we've just worked so much. Come back up, tabletop, other side. Inhale, left arm reaches to the sky. Exhale, thread the hand to the right. Bring the back of the left shoulder to the mat, left ear. Maybe take your right hand above your head. Twist in the spine, stretch in the back of the shoulders. Inhale, come back up. Come to sit on your heels. So flip the toes under. So the toes are facing forward and you're sitting on your heels. Engage the core, lift ever so slightly so you're not dumping into the legs. Look down, make sure all 5 toes on each foot are facing forward. Take the left hand forward, right arm up, cross at the elbows. And step 1 is take a big hug, so reaching around, grabbing the back of the shoulders to give yourself an awesome hug because you're amazing. Bus stop 2 is bring the back of the hands together, best you can, opening the back of the shoulders. And 3 is to wrap around all the way and grab the opposite hand. So right elbows on top, left elbows down. Allow the shoulder blades to move down the back, lift the elbows up. Should be feeling a great stretch in the back of the shoulders. And release, switch side, left elbow on top this time. Whatever bus stop you want to be on, allow the shoulder blades to relax down the spine and open to the left and the right. Lift the elbows up. to deepen the stretch. You might also notice the stretch in the bottoms of the feet. That's good. Awesome. Release. And come to sit on your bum. Roll all the way down onto the back. Bring the knees into the chest. Take the arms out in a cactus shape to the left and the right. Bring your knees to a 90-degree angle. And then allow the knees to fall to the left. Keeping your shoulders down. Maybe cross the right leg on top of the left, if that feels good. Come back through center. Take the knees at a 90-degree angle once again and allow the legs to fall to the right this time. Keep the shoulders down. Maybe cross the left leg on top of the right if that feels good. Move back through center. Take the hands underneath the hips now. Press the elbows into the mat. Take the legs long. Inhale, press through the elbows, lift the heart space up. Allow the crown of the head to fall toward the mat. Fish pose. Point the toes. And release. Take the hands to the left and the right. The feet fall to the left and the right. Shimmy the shoulders up underneath the heart space. Allow the fingertips to relax, the toes to release. And take this time now to feel such pride in yourself for moving through this workshop flow. For taking the time to work on your alignment and your strength and stability. Allow the body to be heavy as it sinks into the mat. And know as well that in any practice, whether it be in this program or on YouTube or with another teacher in a studio, that Chaturanga is never required. It can be fun and empowering, or it cannot be, depending on each individual's constitution, energy level, upper body strength, desire. Know that you can always drop the knees, you can always skip it. This workshop was just a way to help you build strength should that be your desire. Now I invite you to lay here, to relax, to recoup in Shavasana for as long as you're able. And I'll see you next time in our next class together. From my heart to yours, Namaste.